your entire outlook on yourself and on life and the struggles. In the world, there's two types of people. There's dreamers and there's realists. People who are grounded in reality. Like I was just talking to Mashidu, there's the consistent people who can wake up every day and do what has to get done. And they look at the facts and that's the only thing that exists. And then there's dreamers. And then there's the dreamers who come with, have a vision, they're in the clouds, their head is in the clouds, they're not here. Now, the first person who the Torah talks about who was a dreamer was Yosef. Yosef was a dreamer. And he comes and he says, I have a dream! It's like Martin Luther King Bible. He wasn't sleeping. How did it say sleeping? Yosef was never sleeping. He had a dream. And he had this vision how he's a leader, how he's transforming the world. He goes to his brothers, they're realists. And he tells them, I have a dream. The brothers say, you have a what? You're going to be our leader? You have zero social skills. You're the guy who rats on us, who's maybe the boss of Morale. You're the guy who doesn't even have the basic idea of how to communicate with people. You're going to be our leader? You're the one who's misalsel b'sadoi, who's mishmashmish be'einav, who's putting on makeup. The guy with the ksonis pasim, the spoiled rotten brat, holier than thou, you're going to be our leader? So they throw his dreams and the dreamer and everything with it into a pit. And they relegate it to the dustbin of society. They say, you're not here. And they were right, because he didn't have those skills, but he kept on dreaming. And the rule is that the universe and Hashem, if you have a vision about yourself or a vision about the world, then things will happen that's going to bring you closer to that place. And how does that happen? Nobody knows. But as long as you keep on dreaming, something will happen. They throw him into the pit, they think they got rid of him. In reality, what was happening? They were making his dream come true. They throw him into the pit, and then suddenly he finds himself with Medunim, and he finds himself in base Pakifat. And here's you have this holier than thou guy who never ever had to struggle in his life, and suddenly he's confronted by the struggles of the small guy, of the little man. He suddenly has Calvis, and he's frustrated, and he doesn't know, and it's confused. And he's going through this therapeutic session that's rewiring his brain, causing him to realize new things about the world. He's actually becoming capable of becoming the leader. L'cham, l'cham. So, he gets dumped, and he starts realizing things, and then he gets thrown into a pit. You know what happens in that pit? He meets prisoners. He meets the simple folk. And the Torah says the first time that he saw pain in someone's eyes, and he said, Lama ponecha roim ayoim. Why are you depressed? He saw that they're sad, and he realized there's sadness in them, and he asked what's going on. He started connecting to other people's feelings. And they said, well, we had a dream. He says, whoa, I know dreams. I'm also living out a dream. Tell me a dream. Tell me your vision about yourself. How did the dream explain to you in a metaphor form what's going on in your life? And he sees that the Sarah Oifim is standing there with a basket on top of his head, and the birds are picking bread off his head. Sarah Mashkim is standing there and he's squeezing. And he says, oh, I know what that dream means. The guy who's squeezing, he's working. He's struggling. He's active. He's alive. Because alive means somebody who's active, who's doing, who's involved. He's standing there as a dead man. He's not doing anything. He comes out of the pit, and Pari comes to him, and Pari says, I also have a dream. And Yosef says, oh, I know dreams. What's your dream? He hears Pari describing his life in his dream. 7 fat cows are coming out of the ocean, coming out of the Yoed, coming out of the riverbank, and they represent strong, beautiful, successful elements of society. And the Zibim Mugarikian, these scrawny, hungry, downtrodden, ugly cows, these skeletons come out, and the ugly starts consuming and devouring the beautiful, and he says, it doesn't make sense. That's not the way society works. Society says that the stronger are stronger and the weaker are weaker, not the weaker. What's going on? He says, says, Yosef, I know exactly what's going on. There's a message here that's the story of my life. So let me tell you about my life. My life was that I went through good times, but then I found myself in bad times. And I learned to borrow from the good times to the bad times. I learned to see I learned to see that there were times when I had inspiration, that when I won't have, I'll be able to borrow from those good times. And that's the message. You're going to have a wonderful 7 years, where you're going to have an abundance. But you need to borrow that abundance and take it over. And he says, whoa, this guy's getting it. He has an insight in how the world works. And then the brothers show up, the realists. Because reality didn't work out anymore. And the realists found out that reality doesn't always work. 2 + 2 = 4. And they end up coming down to Mitzrayim. And they come to Yosef. And he sees them. And he recognized them. Because they didn't change. They woke up every day. Same time Shachar, same time Mincha, same time Ma'ariv. They did the same thing. But he was somebody who was struggling. And he transformed, so they didn't recognize him. He was in a new reality. He was now a real leader because his mind changed, his personality changed. And they say, we came for food. And he says, no, you're meraglim. You're spies. To see ervas ha'aretz, you came to see the weakness and the vulnerability of the land. You're the types of people, you realists, when you see a person, you see, oh, these are all the weak points in him. Let's tear him down. Let's destroy him. And they say, no. We came to get sustenance from you. We realize that reality isn't working anymore for us. We need to hear what the dreamers have to teach us. And you know what the dreamer says? Oh, you want me to teach you about dreams? Once upon a time, when I had dreams, I used to talk about them. But I learned that doesn't work. I can explain it. I can give you the same therapeutic session that I got from God. I can share it with you. And suddenly their world gets messed up. They find money stuffed in their sack, they take away Shimon, and then they call for Binyamin, and they're confused, and they're messed up. And then suddenly amazing things happen. They start like saying, whoa, maybe we messed up. They start realizing new things. They said, oh, I am loyal to my brothers. I'm going to do anything to save my brother. Where were you the last 22 years? No, they had to go through a session of explanation in order to get it. That they had the experiential, they had to get an experience, to feel it on their own. You got to explain it. It's a event. And then, and finally in Vayigash they come, and the world opens up and they say, oh, Ani Yosef, and suddenly everything makes sense because they understand that every struggle they went through was only here to develop them and bring the world to a better place. And you know what this entire story teaches us? When I tell you a story or you hear a story from somebody, you said the story and it's deleted. But here you have a story that's been repeated for thousands of years. 2,000 years it's being repeated in a Medrash on a scroll with the Sefer Torah, with the blessings. And every year they repeat the story. You know why? Because this story is infinite. And it says your story and my story and every Jew's story forever. You're that story. There's a dreaming in you. You're a realist. You're a slice of that story and you're struggling. And we read the story and you say, no, Hashem, I need you to see the whole picture. Realize that whatever you're going through, you're a slice of a huge story. And every struggle you're going through is something that can be reframed. And you can know it's only here to make the world a better place. And you know, if you can go to Mitzrayim later, you know what prepared them to be in the worst, darkest place in the world? Because there was a Yosef there before them. There was Shvatim there before them who already went through hell. And they realized that hell is what brought them to heaven. And that's what gives Jews the fortitude that whenever you find yourself in your hell, you can lift your eyes up, open up the Torah and say, this story was said already, and I'm part of that story. And I want to just end off on Hanukkah. That's the entire ness of Hanukkah. It's about light in the darkness. It's about realizing that it's these messages which give you that light, which light up your darkness. The darkness doesn't change. We light Hanukkah like when it's dark outside. And we're not going to take away the darkness, but we're going to give it a light. We're going to shed the way of understanding that darkness, that suddenly that same darkness is a way that you enjoy it and you have light at the end of the tunnel. You accept it.